to the Big East, where we have the UConn Huskies, a team that the last show I hosted with you last week, Laval, was on the rundown. We didn't even get to them. We talked about like 10 different other teams before
you
we
did that on purpose.
Is that on purpose? Yeah.
Hey, no comment on that. I know my boss, Rob Doster's looking at me sideways about it. Look, I can't avoid it anymore. Okay, you're welcome. UConn wins by 21 points tonight against Pat's Florida Gators. I called this wrong. I thought Florida was going to get the upset tonight. I did. I called this. I should have talked to you. I saw the text about 10 minutes into the game, and that's on me for not reaching out to you first. But I was skeptical of this UConn team still because this was their first true road game, and because they had a real good 4-game winning streak, a lot of neutral site games in that run in the tournament. And to be honest with you, Alabama was the only team that I would consider good to great that I think they had seen. Yeah. And I've only seen Florida a couple times this year. Was not aware at all that this offense was in the spot that it was tonight. And I'm sure, Pat, you can tell us more about that. But I think this offense struggled tonight because of how good UConn was defensively. I mean, they have animals on that side, on the wings, and they took everything that Florida wanted to do and just spun it on them the whole game. So, Pat, let's go to you first. We are still doing the contender or pretender game, but first, in this game tonight,
we got choose first and then explain.
Yeah, well, why was UConn so good tonight, Pat?
Yeah, well, first off, UConn, this is my first time getting a chance to see a full 40-minute game, and I knew the position that Florida was in offensively before this, where they have had their struggles ever since that West Virginia game, getting thumped by 30. Had a real look in the mirror type. What type of team we're going to be? And UConn showed up and showed out. They, to me, right now, are absolute contenders. Just execution alone, to the game plans, to being able to take away the strengths. Not that Florida has been a offensive juggernaut this year. I think the lineup has changed 6, 7, 8 times already, and we're 9 games in. Being able to take Castleton out of the game, he struggles with another big man with length. Someone that can be physical with him. UConn gave Florida what they wanted, and oftentimes Florida shoots themselves out of the game. They settle for empty possessions, bad shots early in the shot clock. UConn flies back on offense to their spots. You can tell it's a very well coached team, getting to their spots, setting great screens, finding Donovan Clingan. Oh my gosh. That's why I look
at the backup center, by the way.
What's that?
He's the backup center, by the way.
And I was listening to Jimmy Dykes, and he's like, "This is probably the best backup center in the league," and he's a freshman or in all the country right now, and I can't disagree with him. I think when you look at Adam Sanogo and Donovan Clingan, if UConn were to match up with Purdue, I think UConn would give Purdue a lot of problems with their size, with their speed, with their shooting. Jordan Hawkins was awesome off screens, so smooth. I really didn't see many flaws with this UConn team at all. I was like, Florida, if you don't start taking care of the ball, I mean, I'm surprised it wasn't a 30-point game, honestly, because there was nothing easy for Florida in this entire game.
Douster's going to love me for this. I'm 2 hands up on Connecticut contender.
Hey,
and here's why. Again, like I said, right now, defensively, they're one of the best in the country. Right, defensively, they are 4th in the KenPom. They are 8th offensively. So they're going to bottle you up defensively. They've shown that. They beat every high major team they played by double digits. Firepower. So now you start talking, okay, take away Sanogo. Well, you got Jordan Hawkins. He's making 3 threes a game. He can go for 30. You got Tristan Newton. He's averaging 11 and 5 and 4, and he can go. You got Alex Caraman. He pick and pop big, and he can get you 20. Patrick just said it. You got Clingan off the bench. He was the MVP in Portland at the PK Invitational. You got Calcaterra, a hired hitman coming in from San Diego. His 15 minutes can get you for 15 points if you're not careful. So it's hard to find. They're top 5 in the country in shot quality right now. Danny runs great. He runs his sets, right? They're long and delayed, so they keep you on defense. He's going to get Sanogo in the middle third of the court. They're going to run Jordan Hawkins off actions. The only thing, so they got a matchup and a dominant player. The only thing is how dynamic. They had RJ Cole last year when games got tight. And he was a dude in the pick and roll, and you had to decide if you're going to trap him. He could find the other guy. I didn't even talk about Andre Jackson off the bench, who's averaging 4 assists a game and is maybe the best athlete in the country. Right. I almost forgot about him. So I don't know many weaknesses, right? If they're getting hurt with a matchup with a big, say you got a pick and pop 5 man, they can just throw Caravan at the 5 and play small and switch. So they can beat you in a number of ways on offense. They can guard you multiple ways on defense. And they have the X factor, Greg, and I think the X factor is this. We played for a national title when I was assistant at Michigan, and we made the run because Trey Burke said when he came back, we're going to play for a national championship. And our guys had a belief and they had a chip on their shoulder. The thing that trumped us was Louisville had Kevin Ware, who had broken his leg. So they had something they were playing for, right? I played against Florida when they were playing for a back-to-back national they had something they were playing for that was this thing that motivated the group and lifted them to another. UConn hadn't won a tournament game since 2016. Now they're a member of the Big East. I think that is a game changer for them getting out of the American Conference. So they've got something they're playing for with a huge chip and an unbelievable amount of talent. It's hard to find a flaw with Connecticut.
Yeah, I'm right there with both you guys. 2 thumbs up, contender for me. I had seen Connecticut a little bit this year. This is the first game I'm just totally blown away. And I think I sort of shrugged off a lot of these growing signs of stardom from different guys as just small sample size. They can't possibly continue to play this well. No, yeah, maybe they can. Jordan Hawkins is that good. The thing with him for me, it's the attempts. Like he's going to get his 7-8 threes a game up just within the motion.
They're looking good too.
And
they're good looks.
yeah, it doesn't feel like they're forced. Like normally when you see a guy with that type of gaudy attempts, there's some questionable shot selection or just some questionableness nature behind it. Nothing with him at all. Like the whole team embraces that. Klingon, I think they correctly identified he's the best backup big in the country. I mean, Colin Castleton is a damn good center. And Colin Castleton was the 3rd best big on the floor tonight, and it wasn't close.
Yeah. He was one of 9 in the first half. Colin Castleton.
I'm wildly impressed by this team and how they can do it on both sides of the ball. And I think Hurley deserves a lot of credit for putting some gap pieces together in the portal this year too with Tristan Newton. I mean, he's been a very good floor general for him so far. Calcaterra, like you mentioned, off the bench, double digits tonight. This team's top 6, top 7 is tough. And I think a lot of people in the Big East, it's been Villanova for years. Then this year, maybe it was Creighton, the Big Eyes. Now it's UConn.
And the other thing is, like, injuries are a factor right now. We just talked about Cam Whitmore coming back. So, unfortunately, that's a fact. Like, they have insurance. I mean, Hassan Diarra is still on the team. and with Kleeman as your backup big, they've got depth and insurance policies. If something happens, they still have Naeem Aline, right, sitting there not getting that many minutes, but we know what he's capable of.
Would anybody go so far as to say they think UConn might be the best team in the country right now? You don't have to, but I'm just curious because I don't know who is the best team right now.
I'm close.
I'm close
with
as well.
Connecticut.
Okay.
I just say, it's just that, like I said, multiple ways that they can get you. And if they're having an off night, they're one of the best offensive rebound teams in the nation.
Right.
So that's the thing with them in Houston. Like, okay, say you do a good job defending them on the first shot. The second shot is going to be the issue because both of those programs, they put the bubble up and it is war in practice. And so they're averaging 13 offensive rebounds a game. So
what? The bubble practices? What?
Yeah.
People don't know about that. When that bubble goes on the rim, just know it's not about making shots today. This is a physical. There's no fouls. This is you're not friends today with your teammates. That's for sure. Ain't no friendships.
No,
You probably won your fair share of battles when the bubble was up, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I won my fair share, but it wasn't my favorite. It's still not my favorite thing to do.
No.
Yeah, there's probably not too many teams in the country I'd want to participate in that with, but especially not UConn, especially not this team. And we just named a lot of things we love about them. I feel like we barely even mentioned their best player, Adama Sanogo, who, I mean, a quiet 17-7 tonight. He had foul trouble a little bit, but he's a beast and he's back for a reason.
A great
and,
touch.
Yeah, he's special. All right, so that's 6 thumbs up collectively between the 3 of us on UConn. Come back next episode. We'll tell you whether or not UConn is definitively the best team in the country. I have a feeling that's going to be a conversation in the next few weeks.